legions of far-left radicals resort to desperate acts of violence and terror because they know that their ideas and arguments are persuading no one. They know that they're failing. They have the devil's ideology, and they're failing, and they know it. They're not brave people. In fact, they're cowards. When you confront them, they immediately fold.
President Trump says political violence must end. And look how much of it we have seen. Some of it against him, 2 attempts on his life as a candidate. The issue remains front and center in our national discourse, with more than a dozen plots targeting both Democrats and Republicans. Just recently, 2 attempts on President Trump's life again. An arson attack at the mansion of the Pennsylvania governor, Josh Shapiro, and the assassination of Charlie Kirk, just to name a few. In Wisconsin, Winnebago County Democrats are accused of giving a bracelet, which read, "Is he dead yet?" referring to President Donald Trump. They gave that bracelet at their stand at a farmer's market to an 8-year-old little boy. The market has now pulled that Democrats' booth for now and possibly permanently. That child's mother, Katy Neubauer, is with me now. Katy, first of all, how did you spot the bracelet? What was the conversation like with your son?
Well, we were down at the farmer's market having a conversation, my sister-in-law, next to their booth, and they had free children's books out and bubbles blowing in the wind, and the kids were having a great time, and we didn't think much of it. We continued our conversation, and out of the corner of my eye, I see the man leaning over and giving one of our children a bracelet, and I kind of waited for it. I thought, oh, this is going to be fun, you know, whatever. But the child runs over, hands it to us, and we both look down, and my sister-in-law said, "I don't really know what it says." And I said, "Well, it says, 'Is he dead yet?'" And we both kind of look at each other in shock, and I walk back over to the table and I hand it back to him, and I said, "We don't wear hate speech here." And I had to walk away because I was seething. And I went and continued and bought a few more items, and then I decided to come back and confront them a second time. So at that point, I started going through the bracelets. I found others that contained not so nice language, including 8647, which I'm sure you've heard that one before.
Yeah.
And I said, "Are any of these appropriate for children?" And he said, "No, I suppose they're not." And I said, "Okay, then why are you handing them to my 8-year-old child?" And I read off a couple others to them, and he picked up the basket and he said, "Well, here, I'll just remove them then." And I said, "Okay, that would be a good start." So that's how that came about.
So their booth has been pulled, though. This escalated as it needed to escalate. And how did that go?
I called the farmer's market manager as I was walking home. We live very close to downtown. Our kids actually have a farmer's market booth every other week, and so we're down there a lot. We know the manager, and she was very kind, and she said, "You're not the first person to call and complain about their booth today." In fact, there were about 10 complaints total that particular day.
Well, Katy, I know that this causes you to have a big boy conversation with your 8-year-old child. A lot of people are having those conversations with children right now around politics and really poor, dangerous decisions people are making. I'm glad your family and you are safe, and you spoke up. Thank you for being in focus.
Thank you.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.